Hari Om all. We are ready to begin with the Navmi Tithis Satsang. Let's begin with preliminaries and purification. Sprinkle water all around you. Om apavitraha pavitro va sarvavasthangato piva yasmare pundarikaksha sabhahyabhyantaraha shuchi. Now sip water from the palm of your right hand 3 times, focusing your mind on Bhagwan. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Now rinse your hands. Om Rishikeshaya Namaha. Om Govindaya Namaha. Om Madhusudanaya Namaha. Put on a kus ring on the ring finger of the right hand. Om Pavitre Stho Vaishnavyo Saviturva Prasvapunam Chidre Pavitrena Suryasya Rashmabhihi Tasya Te Pavitra Pate Pavitra Putasya Yat Kamaha Pune Tatchakeyam. Now, using your thumb, apply a Chandan Tika to your forehead. Om Chandanam Bandite Nityam Pavitram Papanashanam Apadam Harite Nityam Lakshmir Vasati Sarvada. Light the chirag, your lamp, if it is not already lit. Om Bodhipatvam Brahmarupa Andhakara Nivaraka Imam Maya Kritam Pujang Grihastejo Pravardhaya. Om Deepaya Namaha. Sprinkle some water on the Vedi while focusing your mind on Dharti Mata. Om Prithvi Tvaya Dhrita Loka Devi Tvan Vishnuna Dhrita Tvancha Dharya Mandevi Pavitram Kuru Chasanam. Take some flowers and rice in your palms. Put your palms together and do prarthana to Bhagwan while we recite the Swasti Vachan, appealing for progress and prosperity in your life. Om Swastina Indro Vridashavaha Swastina Pusha Vishwaveda Swastina Starikshor Arishtanemi Swastino Brihaspatir Dadhatu. Om Payah Prithivyam Payah Oshadhishu Payo Divyantarikshe Payodhaha Payasvati Pradishaha Santu Mahyam. Om Vishnoratamasi Vishnoh Shnaptrestho Vishnoh Syurasi Vishnodhruvasi Vaishnavamasi Vishnavitva. Om Agnir Devata Vato Devata Suryo Devata Chandrama Devata Vasavo Devata Rudra Devata Ditya Devata Maruto Devata Vishwe Deva Devata Brihaspatir Devatendra Devata Varuno Devata. Om Dyoho Shantirantariksha Gung Shanti Prithivi Shantir Apah Shantir Oshadhayah Shanti Vanaspatayah Shantir Vishvedevah Shantir Brahma Shanti Sarvagung Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredhi. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasuva Yadbhadrang Tanna Asuva Sushantir Bhavatu. Okay, we are going to do Dhyan mantras for Ganesh, Gauri, Kalash and Varun Dev, Surya Navgraha Devata and Shivji. So for each of them, you will take flowers and rice and try to focus your mind on that form So immediately we're going to do Ganesh and Gauri Pratna. Take flowers and rice. Om He He Ramba Tume He Ambika Trimbakatmaja Siddhi Buddhi Patetraksha Laksha Labha Pitu Pitah Nagasya Nagaharatvam Ganaraja Chaturbuja Bhushitah Swaidhair Divye Pashankusha Avahayami Pujartham Rakshartham च मम कृतो यहाँ गत्य गृहाणत्वं पूजां कृत्वं च रक्ष मे ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे प्रियाणां त्वा प्रियपतिगुं हवामहे निधीनां त्वा निधिपतिगुं हवामहे वसो मम आहं जानि गर्भदमत्वं जासि गर्भदम् ॐ भूर्भुवः गणपतये नमः ॐ अम्बे अम्बिके अम्बालिके न मानयति कश्चन सस्यस्य यश्वकः सुभद्रिकां काम्पीलवासिनीम् ॐ भूर्भुवः अम्बिकायै नमः. Offer that in front of Ganesh Gauri or anywhere on the Bedi. Now we're going to do Pratna to Kalash and Varun Dev, and we know that this represents all the places of pilgrimage. So we want to pray to Kalash and Varun Dev to grant us that kind of peace and tranquility that exists in a place of pilgrimage, and to help raise our spirits to create a very positive mental attitude, just like how a place of pilgrimage uplifts us. Om Tattvayami Brahmana Vandamanastada Shaste Yajamano Havirabhihi Ahedamano Varuneha Potyurusapam Samana Ayuhu Pramoshihi Om Bhurvasva Bhovarna Yagacheha Tishta Om Agacha Varuna Vignadvansar Sakaraka Mama Karya Vibhritatham Stitim Kuru Jaladhipaha. Offer that in front of the Kalsa or your Kalash. Now we're going to do Pratna to Surya and Navagraha Devta. Again, take flowers and rice in your hand. Put your palms together. Om Brahma Murari Tripurantakari Bhanu Shashi Bhumi Sutro Buddhasya Guruscha Shukraha Kanira Ketav Sarvigraha Shantikara Bhavantu. Okay, you may offer that in front of the murtis there, or you can put it on a betel leaf. Now we're going to do Pratna to Shivji. Take flowers and rice in your hands again. Om Dhyayeyam Sura Om Dhyaye Nityam Sureyam Yatti Matidam Yoga Kadharam Ekam Adyantadi Prabhavam Nigamajani Jushan Dhyan Dharavgamyam Somam Sodharimishan Dharini Survara Yanchaya Shankarantam Om Namah Shambhavaya Cha Mayobhavaya Cha Namah Shankaraya Cha Mayaskaraya Cha Namah Shivaya Cha Shivataraya Cha Shivaya Namah. Okay, offer that on the baby. Now we're going to do Saraswati Mata's puja. So focus your attention on an image or murti of Saraswati Mata or a picture of Saraswati Mata. If you don't have that in front of you, then you may make all the offerings either on a betel leaf or a betel nut or just on the baby. So now, Dhyan kijiye Saraswati Mata, think of her, imagine her form, etc. and invite her into your homes, invite her into your lives, so that we can all have a lot more intelligence and wisdom. Om ya kundendu tushar dhavala ya shuddha vastravrita या वीणावर दंड मंडित करा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्मा अच्युत शंकर प्रभृतिभिर देवैः सदा वंदिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापः आशासु राशि भवदङ्गवल्ली भासेव दासी कृतदुग्ध सिन्धुम् मन्दस्मितैर्निन्दित शारदेन्दुं वन्देरविन्दासन सुन्दरी त्वां शारदा शारदां भोज वदना वदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिं सन्निधिं क्रियात् वीणाधरे विपुल मङ्गलदानशीले भक्तार्तिनाशिनी विरञ्च हरीश वन्द्ये कीर्ति प्रदे अखिल मनोरथ दे महारे विद्या प्रदायिनी सरस्वती नौमि नित्यं सरस्वती महाभागे विद्ये कमल लोचने विद्यारूपे विशालाक्षी विद्यां देहि नमोस्तुते ओम सर्वलोकस्य जननी वीणा पुस्तकधारिणी सर्वदेवमयी मीशा देव्यामावाहयाम्यहम्. After that, now sprinkle some flowers as an asan or a seat. आसन के लिए कुछ फूल अर्पण कीजिए. ओम कुंदेंदी वर्ण वर्णाभम मुक्तामणि विराजितम् अमलं कमलं दिव्यम आसनम प्रतिगृह्यताम्. अब पाद्य पैर के लिए पानी, वाटर फॉर वॉशिंग ऑफ द फीट. ओम गंगादि तीर्थ संभूतम गंध पुष्पादिभिर्युतम पाद्यम ददाम्यहं देवी त्रिहानाशु नमोस्तुते. फिर पानी अर्घ्य के लिए, अगेन वाटर फॉर वॉशिंग ऑफ द हैंड्स एटसेट्रा. ओम अष्टगंध समायुक्तम गंध पुष्पादिभिर्युतम अर्घ्यं गृहाणमदत्तं शारदायै नमोस्तुते. फिर आचमन के लिए पानी, वाटर फॉर सिपिंग. ओम सर्वलोकस्य या शक्तिर ब्रह्म विष्णु दिभिः स्तुते ददाम आचमनन्तसे सरस्वत्यै मनोहरम. अब स्नान के लिए पानी, some water for bathing. ओम मंदाकिन्याः समानीते हेमां भोरुहवासिते स्नानं कुरुष्व देवेशि सललैश्च सुगंधिभिः. फिर पंचामृत स्नान, bathing with panchamrit. Actually, panchamrit is like, in the modern days we call it shampoo. The only difference is that pancha amrit, it has amrit in it, auspicious items. I'm not sure about the shampoos that we have these days. Om panchamrita samayuktam chahnavi salilam shubham grihana vishwajanani snanartham bhaktavatsale. So after you use shampoo, you must wash it off. So offer water now to bathe with. Om Ganga Saraswati Reva Payoshni Narmada Jalehe Snapito Asi Maya Devi Tatha Shanti Kurushva Me. And after bathing, you put on clothing. So offer 2 pieces of raw cotton, one for clothing and one for the upper body clothing. Om Divyambara Nutanam Hi Shomam Tvati Manoharam Diyamanam Maya Devi Grihana Jagadambike. Om Kanchukim Upavastram Cha Nana Ratne Samanvitam Grihana Tvam Maya Dattam Mangale Jagadishwari. Offer Chandan, Tika, Om Shri Khanda Garu Karpura Mriganabhi Samanvitam Vilepanam Mahadevi Tubhyam Dasyami Bhaktitaha. And offer all the colors Abir, Sendur, Kumkum, Harti, Ityadi. Om Sinduram Raktavarnam Cha Sindura Tilaka Priye Bhaktiyadaptam Maya Devi Sinduram Pratigrihitam Om Kumkumam Kamadam Divyam Kumkumam Kamarupinam Akhanda Kama Sobhagyam Kumkumam Pratigrihitam Om Abhirang Cha Gulalan Cha Chova Chandanameva Cha Abhirenarchita Devi Yata Shanti Prayachame. Now offer some akshat or white rice. Om Akshatan Nirmalan Shuddhan Muktamani Samanvitam Grihanashu Mahadevi Dehi Me Nirmalan Dhiyam. Here, full flowers to be offered now. Om Manda Riparijatadyah Patalo Ketiki Tatha Marva Mogarancheva Grihanashu Namo Namaha. If you have turf, you can offer some turf. Durva Om Vishnavadi Sarva Devanam Priyam Sarva Sushobhanam Kshirasagar Sambhutam Durva Svikuru Sarvada. अगरबत्ती का धूप ओम वनस्पति रसोद्भूतो गंधाढ्यः गंधोत्तमः आग्रेयः सर्वदेवानां धूपोऽयं प्रतिगृह्यताम्. फिर आरती, do आरती with a lamp or with a lit camphor. Om Karpurvarti Sanyuktam Ghrita-yuktam Manoharam Tamonashakaram Deepam Grihana Parameshwari. Now rinse your hands and offer some naivedya or sweet offering of fruit. Om Naivedyam Grihatan Devi Bhakshya Bhojya Samanvitam Shadaraseran Vitan Divyang Saraswatyai Namostute. Then offer some water. Om Achman, Om Shitalam Nirmalantoyam Karpurena Suvasitam Achamyatam Idam Devi Prasidatvam Sureshwari. Om Phalena Phalitam Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tasmat Phala Pradhanena Purnaha Santu Manorathaha. If you have pan and supari, betel leaf, betel nut, clove, camphor, and elaichi, whatever of those you have, and a coin. Om Elalavang Karpura Nagapatradi Viryutam Pongi Phalena Sanyuktam Tambulam Pratigrihyataam. Om Hiranya Garbha Garbhastam Hema Vibja Vibhavaso Ananta Punya Falada Matah Shanti Prayachame. And then do Aarti once more. Om Chakshurdam Sarva Lokanan Timirasya Nivaranam Artikyam Kalpitam Bhaktya Grihana Parameshwari. Om Yani Kani Chapapani Janmantara Kritani Cha Tani Tani Vinashanti Pradakshina Pade Pade. एक बार बोलो जग जननी सरस्वती माता की जय. Okay, we'll have a bhajan now.
विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का। सदराह दिखा करके उद्धार करो माता, उद्धार करो दुर्गा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी। दर्शन हो माँ तेरे, सबकी अभिलाषा है। मन में रहो तुम सबकी, तुमसे यही आशा है। दर्शन हो माँ तेरे, सबकी अभिलाषा है। मन में रहो तुम सबके, तुमसे यही आशा है। क्या मेरा क्या उसका, यहाँ अपना पराया क्या। सतज्योत जला करके रोशन करो जग सारा, रोशन करो जग सारा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी। संसार तो माया है, कभी धूप कभी छाया है। एक दिन उसे जाना है, जो भी यहाँ आया है। संसार तो माया है, कभी धूप कभी छाया है। एक दिन उसे जाना है, जो भी यहाँ आया है। क्या रंग है जीवन का, क्या रूप है मानव का। तुम ज्ञान बढ़ा करके उपकार करो दुर्गा, उपकार करो दुर्गा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का। सदराह दिखा करके उद्धार करो दुर्गा, उद्धार करो दुर्गा।
Okay, today we are focusing on chapter 12 of the Durga Saptashati. We are going to recite chapter 12, and perhaps we should use this Navaratri to try and improve. So maybe by next year, many of you will be able to join us in the recital from home. And an easy way of learning is to use a recording. So the next time you are stuck in traffic, instead of getting frustrated and losing your temper, listen to the recital of these various very lovely stutis and kathas. Right, so we're going to read chapter 12 today. Om Vidyudham Samaprabham Mrikapati Skandastitam Bhishanam Kanyabhihi करवालखेट विलसदस्तभिरा सेविताम् हस्तैश्चक्र गदाशिखेट विशिखांश्चापं गुणन्तर्जनीं बिभ्राणमनलात्मिकां शशिधरां दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे। ॐ देवी उवाच ॐ एभिः स्तवैश्च मां नित्यं स्तोष्यते यः समाहितः तस्याहं सकलां बाधान् नाशयिष्याम्य संशयम् मधुकैटभनाशं च महिषासुरघातनं कीर्तयिष्यन्ति ये तद्वत् पदं शुम्भनिशुम्भयोः अष्टम्यां च चतुर्दश्यां नवम्यां चैकचेतसः शोष्यन्ति चैव ये भक्त्या मम माहात्म्यम् उत्तमम् न तेषां दुष्कृतं किञ्चित् दुष्कृतोत्थानचापदः भविष्यति न दारिद्र्यं न च वेष्टवियोजनम् शत्रुतो न भयं तस्य दस्युतो वानराजतः न शस्ता न लतो योगात् कदाचित् सम्भविष्यति तस्मान् ममेतन्माहात्म्यं पठितव्यं समाहितैः श्रोतव्यं च सदा भक्त्या परं स्वस्य यनं हि तत् उपसर्गान् अशेषांस्तु महामारी समुद्भवान् तथा त्रिविधम् उत्पातं महात्म्यं शमयेन्मम यत्रेतत् पठ्यते सम्यक् नित्यमायतने मम सदा न तद्विमोक्ष्यामि सान्निध्यं तत्र मे स्थितम् बलिप्रदाने पूजायाम् अग्निकार्ये महोत्सवे सर्वन्ममेतच्चरितम् उच्चार्यं श्राव्यमेव च जानता अजानता वापि बलिपूजा तथा कृतम् प्रतिचिक्ष्याम्यहं प्रीत्या वह्नि होमं तथा कृतम् शरत्काले महापूजा क्रियते या च वार्षिकी तस्यां ममेतन्माहात्म्यं श्रुत्वा भक्ति समन्वितः सर्वा बाधा विनिर्मुक्तो धन धान्य सुतान्वितः मनुष्यो मत्प्रसादेन भविष्यति न संशय श्रुत्वा ममेतन्माहात्म्यं तथा चोत्पत्तयः शुभाः पराक्रमं च युद्धेषु जायते निर्भयः पुमान् रिपवः संशयं यान्ति कल्याणं चोपपद्यते नन्दते च कुलं पुंसां महात्म्यं मम शृण्वताम् शान्तिकर्मणि सर्वत्र तथा दुःस्वप्नदर्शने गृहपीडासु चोग्रासु महात्म्यं शृणुयान्मम उपसर्गः शमं यान्ति ग्रहपीडाश्च दारुणः दुःस्वप्नं च निभृतिष्ठं सुस्वप्नम् उपजायते बालगृहाभिभूतानां बालानां शान्तिकारकं सङ्घातभेद च नृणां मैत्रीकरणम् उत्तमम् दुर्वृत्तानाम् अशेषाणां कलहानिकरं परम् रक्षभूतपिशाचानां पठनादेव नाशनम् सर्वन्ममेतन्माहात्म्यं मम सन्निधिकारकम् पशुपुष्पाढ्यधूपैश्च गन्धदीपैस्तथोत्तमे विप्राणां भोजनैर्होमैः प्रोक्षणीयर्अहर्निशम् अन्यैश्च विविधैर्भोगैः प्रदानैर्वत्सरेण प्रीतिर्मे क्रियते सास्मिन् सकृत्सु चरितेषु ते श्रुतं हरति पापानि तथा रोग्यं प्रयच्छति रक्षां करोति भूतेभ्यो जन्मनां कीर्तिनं मम युद्धेषु चरितन्यन्मे दुष्टदेत निबर्हनम् तस्मिन् श्रुते वैरीकृतं भयं पुंसां न जायते युष्माभिः स्तुतयो याश्च ब्रह्मर्षिभिः कृताः ब्रह्मणा च कृतास्तास्तु प्रयच्छन्ति शुभां मतिम् अरण्ये प्रान्तरे वापि दावग्नि परिवारितः दस्युभिर्वा वृतः शून्ये गृहीतो वापि शत्रुभिः सिंहव्याघ्रानुयातो वा वने वा वनहस्तिभिः राज्ञा क्रुद्धेन चाज्ञप्तो वध्यो बन्धगतोऽपि वा आर्घूर्णीतो वा तेन स्थितः पोते महार्णवे पतत्सु चापि शस्त्रेषु संग्रामे वृषदारुणे सर्वाबाधासु घोरासु वेदनाभ्यार्तितोऽपि वा स्मरन् ममेतच्चरितं नरो मुच्येत सङ्कटात् मम प्रभावात् सिंहाद्या दस्य वो वैरिणस्तथा दूरादेव पलायन्ते स्मरतश्चरितं मम ॐ ऋषिरुवाच ॐ इत्युक्त्वा सा भगवती चण्डिका चण्डविक्रमा पश्यताम् एव देवानां तत्रैवान्तरधीयत तेऽपि देवा निरातङ्का स्वाधिकारान् यथा पुरा यज्ञभागा भुजः सर्वे चक्रुर्विनिहतारय दैत्याश्च देव्या निहते शुम्भे देव रिपो युधि जगद्विध्वंसिनी तस्मिन् महोग्रे तुल्यविक्रमे एवं भगवती देवी सा नित्यापि पुनः पुनः सम्भूय कुरुते भूप जगतः परिपालनम् ते तन्मोह्यते विश्वं सेव विश्वं प्रसूयते सा याचिता च विज्ञानं तुष्टा रिद्धिं प्रयच्छति व्याप्तं ते तत्सकलं ब्रह्माण्डं मनुजेश्वरः महाकाल्या महाकाले महामारी स्वरूपया सेव काले महामारी सेव सृष्टिर्भवत्यजा स्थितिं करोति भूतानां सेव काले सनातनी भव काले नृणां सेव लक्ष्मीर्वृद्धि प्रदा गृहे सेव भावे तथा लक्ष्मीर्विनाशायोपजायते स्तुता सम्पूजिता पुष्पैर्धूपगन्धादिभिस्तथा ददाति वित्तं पुत्रांश्च मतिं धर्मे गतिं शुभाम् ओम जय जय मार्कंडेय उवाच सावर्णिके मन्वंतरे देवी महात्म्ये सत्या सन्तु यजमानष्कं श्री जगदम्बा अर्पणम् अस्तु। ओम एक बार बोलो जग जननी दुर्गा काली लक्ष्मी सरस्वती माता की जय। We'll also recite chapter 13. ओम बालार्कमण्डलाभासं चतुर्बाहुं त्रिलोचनां पाशाङ्कुशवराभीतिर्धारयन्तीं शिवां भजे। ओम ऋषिरुवाच ओम एतत्ते कथितं भूप देवी माहात्म्यम् उक्तमम् एवं प्रभावा सा देवी येन धार्यते जगत् विद्या तथैव क्रियते भगवद्विष्णु मायया तया त्वमेष वैश्यश्च तथैवान्ये विवेकिनः मोह्यन्ते मोहिताश्चैव मोहमेषन्ति चापरे तामुपैहि महाराजा शरणं परमेश्वरीम् आराधिता सेवनृणां भोगस्वर्गापवर्गदा। ओम मार्कण्डेय उवाच मिति तस्य वचः श्रुत्वा सुरथ स नराधिपः प्रणिपत्य महाभागं तं ऋषिं शंसितव्रतं निर्विनोति ममत्वेन राजा परानेन च जगाम सद्यस्तपसे स च वैश्यो महामुने सन्दर्शनार्थम् अम्बाया नदीपुलीन संस्थित स च वैश्यस्तपस्तेपे देवी सुक्तं परञ्जपन् तौ तस्मिन् पुलिने देव्याः कृत्वा मूर्तिं महिमयीम् अर्हणां चक्रतुस्तस्य पुष्पधूपग्नितर्पणे निराहारो यताहारो तन्मनस्को समाहितो ददतुश्चो ददतुस्तो बलिं चैव निजगात्राश्रिगुक्षितम् एवं एवं समारधायातोस्त्रिभिर्वर्षैर्यथात्मनो परितुष्टा जगद्धात्री प्रत्यक्षं प्राह चण्डिका ॐ देव्यो उवाच यत् प्रार्थते त्वया भूप त्वया च कुलनन्दन मत्तस्तत् प्राप्यतां सर्वे परितुष्टा ददामि तत् मार्कण्डेय उवाच ततो वव्रे नृपो राजम् अविभ्रंशन्य जन्मनि अत्रैव च निजं राज्यं हत शत्रुबलं बलात् सोऽपि वैश्यस्ततो ज्ञानं वव्रे निर्विरमानसः अमेत्यहम् इति प्राज्ञ सङ्गुविच्युतिकारकम् ॐ देव्योवाच ॐ स्वल्पैर्होभिर्नृपते स्वं राज्यं प्राप्स्यते भवान् हत्वा रिपुनर्खलितं तव तत्र भविष्यति हृदश्च भूय सम्प्राप्य जन्म देव दिवस्वतः सावर्णिको नाम मनुर्भवान् भुवि भविष्यति वैश्यवर्य त्वया यश्च परस्मुक्तो विवाञ्छितः तं प्रयच्छामि संसिद्ध्यै तव ज्ञानं भविष्यति ॐ मार्कण्डेय उवाच इति दत्त्वा तयोर्देवी यथाभिलक्षितं वरं बभूवान्तर्हिता सद्यो भक्त्या ताभ्याम् अभीष्टुता एवं देव्या वरं लब्ध्वा सुरतक्षत्रियर्षभः सूर्या जन्म समासाद्य सावर्णिर्भविता मनु एवं देव्या वरं लब्ध्वा सुरतक्षत्रियर्षभः सूर्या जन्म समासाद्य सावर्णिर्भविता मनु क्रीं ओम जय जय मार्कंडे पुराणे सावर्णिके मन्वंतरे देवी महात्म्ये सत्या संतुयज्ञानकं श्री जगदम्बा अर्पणम् अस्तु ओम जयंती मंगला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते ओम एक बार बोलो जग जननी दुर्गा काली लक्ष्मी सरस्वती माता की जय we listen to another bhajan now.
शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां हमको अधिकार दे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। तू श्वेत वदनी कमल पे विराजे, हाथों में वीणा मुकुट सर पे साजे। तू श्वेत वदनी कमल पे विराजे, हाथों में वीणा मुकुट सर पे साजे। मन से हमारे मिटाते अंधेरे, हमको उजालों का संसार दे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। ओम सीताराम। पवन सुत हनुमान, राधे कृष्ण की जय।
We're going to talk about chapters 12 and 13 today. And these are the last two chapters of the Durga Saptashati. And I'm going to begin by focusing on the Dhyan mantra that we read at the beginning of chapter 12. It says, Vidyuddhama Samaprabham Mriga Patiskandhastitam. So here it says that the three-eyed Durga Devi, it says Durga Trinetram Bhaje, the three-eyed Durga Devi, Prabha. Prabha means she's dazzling, effulgent. Where is she? Mriga Patis Skandastitam. Skandha means on the shoulder of the lion. She is seated on the shoulder of a lion. Singh ke kandhe par baithe hai. And she looks Bhishanam. Bhishanam means frightening. Bhayanak dekh raha hai. And she is supported by young kanyas, young girls bearing swords, shields, bow and arrow, noose. They are all in attendance serving Durga Mata. And she has the moon as an adornment on her head. So if you look at this Dhyan mantra, then Durga Devi is described as frightening and powerful. But she is also very calm and cool, as is symbolized by the moon adorning her head. The moon is supposed to have a calming effect on all of us. This suggests that her demeanor depends on whether she is dealing with a demon, then she will be frightening and terrible and powerful, or if she is engaging with a pious soul, with a devotee. In other words, we will get what we deserve as determined by our conduct. If our conduct deserves a frightening Durga Devi, that's what we will see. And of course, the consequences that she can deliver to us. And if our activities deserve a pleasant, cool and calm and graceful Divine Mother, then that's what we will get. It all depends on our activity. So in this chapter, Devi explains to the Devas. Remember that in chapter 11, the Devas sang a wonderful hymn to Devi Mata, after Shumb and Nishumb were slain, were killed. So she says, she's explaining to them in this chapter, to all the Devtas, the benefits of reciting or listening to the Durga Saptashati bhakti ke saath, with concentration and devotion. She explains the greatness of listening to or reciting the hymns honoring the Divine Mother, as well as the kathas relating to the destruction of Madhu and Ketabha, and the killing of Mahishasur, and the slaying of Shumb and Nishumb. So this first part of chapter 12 is also reminding us of what the three main kathas were in this Durga Saptashati. The first episode dealt with the destruction of Madhu and Ketab. The second episode dealt with the destruction of Mahishasur, and the third episode dealt with the destruction of Shumba and Nishum. Then in chapter 12, it's telling you what are the benefits of doing this, right? So in this verse, it says that especially on the 8th, 9th, or 14th day of the Paksha, of the lunar fortnight. So if you listen to this or recite it on the 8th day, on the 9th day, or the 14th day, then it is especially beneficial. So what about other days? So it says, Madhu Ketaba Nasham cha Mahishasura Ghatanam Kirti Ishanti Ye Tadvat Vadam Shumbhani Shumbhayo Ashtamyam cha Chaturdashyam Navamyam Chekachetasa. So these are the 3 days that are especially good to recite or listen to these kathas. But what about all the other days? You will hear later that Devi Mata says you can recite this throughout the year. So throughout the year covers all the days. So we must not become obsessed with only doing this on the 8th day or the 9th day or the 14th day. If it works out to be done on those days, good. If not, do it on any other day that is suitable. So this puja can be done on any day. Any puja, any auspicious activity, you don't need to open a special book to see when to do it. The day you do it, that day becomes auspicious. So what are some of the many benefits that she is explaining? So among the many benefits are the following, and I've selected a few which I'm going to focus on. So in verse 5 it says, Na tesham dushkritam kinchit dushkritothana chapada bhavishyati na daridrayan na che veshta viyojanam. That those who recite this and do this puja and read the hymns, listen to these kathas with sincerity, with devotion, with love, they will not be subject to any adversity, and they will not be attracted to sinful behavior. See, adversity comes when we engage in wrong conduct. So if we are not attracted to wrong conduct, if we continue doing only good things, if we are pious in our behavior, then it will result in freedom from misfortune. Why? That is the result of your good activities. There will be freedom from misfortune, freedom from poverty, etc. Okay? What is another benefit of this Durga Saptashati recital with devotion? There will be no fear of enemies, robbers, weapons, fire, floods, etc. It says Shatruto. Shatru is enemies. Shatruto na bhayam. Na bhayam means no fear. Tasya dasyuto va narajata na shastana lato yoghat kadachit sambhavishyati. So even no fear of weapons and all of that. So this means that those who live in especially difficult environments where there are many enemies, many robbers, many hijackers, etc., they will benefit a great deal more from this. The more you read it, the more fearless will you become in the face of all of these risks that exist. Devi's glory, her kathas, her hymns protect against suffering associated with epidemics and against evil spirits, demons, and ghosts. So I know that there were many people during the COVID time when we were in lockdown. They couldn't go out anywhere. They had to stay at home. So I know of a lot of them who chose to rather stay at home and recite Durga Saptashati, Sundarkand, and other such lovely, uplifting stutis and kathas. And it took the mind away from the epidemic that was frightening so many people. It also gave them a lot of strength. So this is what is stated here has been practiced when we had this epidemic. So we must make sure that we don't wait for an epidemic to start reading it. Read it so that we are protected against epidemics if and when they do come. Then in verse 10 it says, Sarva Mameta Charitam Ucharyam Shravyam Evacha Janata Ajanata Vapi Ali Pujam Tatha Kritam. It says this Saptashati. Saptashati is the Durga Puja part that we read. This Saptashati should be recited at the time of Bali. Bali means offerings. I'll explain that a little more just now. At the time of puja, at the time of doing havan, and during festivals like Navaratri. So the word Bali, unfortunately, has been given a very narrow and, I believe, misinterpreted meaning. The word Bali is used many times in our scriptures. They talk about, in our scriptures, doing what is called swan bali. Swan refers to dog. Then they talk about doing pipilika bali, and pipilika refers to ants. We also supposed to do kak bali daily. Kak bali, kak means crow, and atiti bali, atiti means visitors. So if the word bali means to kill, if it means to kill, then it means we must kill a dog, we must kill an ant, we must kill a crow, and we must kill an atiti. Atiti is a visitor. Does that make sense to all of us? Will Bhagwan, Devi ask us to do all of this when she is the protector of all? No, it is not killing of a dog, it is not killing of an ant, it is not the killing of a crow, and neither is it the killing of a visitor. It is actually making offerings. So the word Bali means to make offerings, especially food kind of offerings. So Swan Bali means you must feed the dog. Pipilika Bali means you must provide food for ants as well. And Kak Bali means you must provide food for crows and birds. And Atiti Bali means you must be hospitable towards your visitors, providing meals, etc. for them. So these are the kind, it's stated in this verse number 10 that you must recite this Durga Saptashati at the time of Bali, at the time of puja, at the time of havan, and during festivals like Navaratri. So this also tells you what are the kinds of activities we should engage in during Navaratri and other such festivals. We should engage in feeding and making offerings to Devi and to other devatas. We should engage in reciting hymns, stutis, and kathas. We should engage in puja, we should engage in Havan. These are the key activities to be engaged in during festivals and celebrations. We will talk about that a little bit more when we come to another verse later on. Then, Ripava Sanshayam Yanti Kalyanam Chopapatyate Nandate Cha Kulam Punsa Mahatmyam Mama Shinvatam. Those who listen to or recite my glories, Devi is saying. So it's important for us to understand whose words these are. These are the words of the Divine Mother, Devi herself. And she says, those who listen to or recite my glories, who discuss my incarnations, the battles that I've engaged in, and the kathas, all with devotion, unka shatru ka nash ho jayega. By her grace, the enemies will be destroyed. So if you do not want enemies, then you need to attract the grace of the Divine Mother. And one of the key ways of attracting her grace is to listen to or recite her glories, as it is found here in the Durga Saptashati. Then our enemies will be destroyed. Obviously, this does not only mean enemies in the physical world, not people. It means that as well, but in other words, the enemies will not have the ability to bring you down. And also, the enemies that prevent our spiritual growth, anger, greed, lust, and all these bad habits, they too will be destroyed by her grace if we regularly engage in recital of her glories or listening to her glories. Then, when should you listen to all of these kathas? When should you do worship? Shanti karmani sarvatra tatha du swapna darshane graha pidasu chograsu mahatmyam shunayan mama. सर्वत्र शांति कर्म में बुरे स्वप्न दिखाई देने पर तथा ग्रह जनित भयंकर पीड़ा उपस्थित होने पर मेरा महात्म्यम श्रवण करना चाहिए. Clear instruction. When should you listen to it? When you are experiencing good times, when there is peace and tranquility in your life, or when you want to attract, when you seek peace and tranquility. Also, to overcome the negative influence of the graha. So it says, जो ग्रह जनित भयंकर पीड़ा उपस्थित होने पर. So instead of going to people to say, please check this and tell me what fast I must do, there is a simple way. Recite the Durga Saptashati and it will prevent the negative influence of the graha. And do swapna, when there is nightmares, those nightmares are transformed into favorable visions. You see, these mental visions that we have, that's what a nightmare is. And a favorable vision that we have, that is its basis is in the mind. So when we recite this Durga Saptashati regularly, then our negative thinking, our visions of nightmares are removed, they are transformed, and we start finding favorable ideas, favorable visions come to mind. The mind becomes positive. So that is when we should do this Durga worship. When? On happy occasions, when we are seeking peace and tranquility, when we want to overcome negative influence of graha, and when we want to transform our mental state from a negative one to a positive one, from nightmarish state to a favorable vision, then we should be doing this. So the more often you do it, the more favorable visions you will have and less nightmares. Then in verse 20, it says, Pashu पुष्पार्घ्य धूपैश्च गन्धदीपैस्ततोत्तमैः विप्राणां भोजनैर्होमैः प्रोक्षणीयैरहर्निशम् अन्यैश्च विविधैर्भोगैः प्रदानैर्वत्सरेण या प्रीतिर्मे क्रियते सास्मिन् सकृत्सु चरिते श्रुते. This is a very important verse because it's telling us how we should engage in worship. But it's also telling us what is a more acceptable or more valuable way of worshipping. So first she says, and I'm going to read the Hindi so you can understand it. It says, मेरा यह सब महात्म्यम मेरे समीप्य की प्राप्ति करने वाला है. पशु, पुष्प, अर्घ्य, धूप, दीप, गंध आदि उत्तम सामग्रियों द्वारा पूजन करने से और ब्राह्मणों को भोजन करने से, होम या हवन करने से, प्रतिदिन, प्रतिदिन मीन्स डेली, अभिषेक करने से, नाना प्रकार के अन्य भोगों का अर्पण करने से तथा दान देने आदि से 1 वर्ष तक, 1 whole year, जो मेरी आराधना की जाती है और उससे मुझे जितनी प्रसन्नता होती है उतनी प्रसन्नता मेरे इस उत्तम चरित्र का एक बार श्रवण करने मात्र से हो जाती है. So it says, first it's telling you how you should worship, how people worship. It says that offering pashu, pashu is animals, pushpa is flowers, arghya, water, dhoop, deep, agarbatti, arti, gandh, perfume, chandan, and other best offerings. And after doing all of that, Brahman ko bhojan karne se, feeding the Brahman, doing havan, and daily worshipping by bathing, abhishek, bathing the murti, or giving dan. All of this, if you do for 1 whole year, it will please the Devi as much as, and this is the important part, it will please her as much as listening to the Durga Saptashati once. So Devi prefers people to listen to this Durga Saptashati. According to this, offering of all of these things is fine, but you have to do it for an extended period of time to get the same benefit that you can get by reading lovingly, listening lovingly to the Durga Saptashati. Therefore, the priority during Navaratri and worship of the Divine Mother is to recite and listen to this katha. That should be the most important activity during Navaratri. Reciting, listening, understanding the Durga Saptashati should be the key activity during Navaratri. All other activities must be sidelined to a less important activity. So they mentioned here pashu, you must offer an animal. So how can you offer an animal? If so much of detail was given in how you should worship and what you should offer, shouldn't they say how you should offer the animal to? If they wanted you to offer it in a particular way. So why can't you offer food to a cow as offering worship to the Divine Mother? Because the Divine Mother is found in the cow. I'm not going to go into the details now, but there is all the Devis and Devatas are found there. Why can't you set an animal free to go back to its nature rather than keeping it locked? Why can't we free ourselves from our own animal-like behavior? You know, when somebody behaves very badly, we say, hey, he's behaving like an animal. Let's give that animal up. Let's offer that animal to Devi and say, please take this away from us. Then, like we read earlier, she removes our sinful tendencies when we recite this. Our animalistic qualities will be removed. So, when they say offering of animals, that is what they mean. When they ask you to offer fruit, do they say you must cut the fruit and offer it? Do we offer it whole? It makes no difference. But why should we destroy an animal? All right, going further, in verse 31, it says, this is now the Rishi, Medha Rishi speaking. Ityuktva sa bhagavati chandika chandra vikrama pashitam eva devanam tatrevantaradhyata. It says, having explained Ityuktva, the benefits of reading or listening to her glories, Devi disappeared. Tatrevantar antaradhyata. She disappeared from the presence of the Devatas. Because remember, she was explaining to the Devatas all the benefits, and she just disappeared. Then Medha Rishi explained to King Surat and to Samadhi. Remember where this katha started in chapter 1? Surat and Samadhi, the king Surat and the businessman Samadhi, the merchant, they were deluded. So now Medha Rishi is explaining this entire Durga Saptashati to them. Now he explains specifically that Devi manifests again and again to sustain the world. Evam Bhagavati Devi sa nityapi punaha punah. Again and again, punah punah. Sambhuya kurate bhupa jagata paripalanam. Palanam, to protect, to maintain. Isn't this the same idea that we come across in Bhagavad Gita? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrijamyam. The same idea is here. Okay? So, and he also says that she alone is Lakshmi, bestowing plenty in homes. But she is also a Lakshmi. Bhava kalendrinam seva Lakshmir vriddhi pradagrihe. Vriddhi, bestowing plenty, growth, progress to various homes as Lakshmi. But Seva bhave tatha alakshmir vinasha upajayate. Alakshmi, she is also a Lakshmi, where there is, when people do not deserve it, when the behavior requires them to be in suffering, there is an absence of fortune. And who provides that absence of fortune? Who creates that condition? Lakshmi, Devi herself. So she is Lakshmi, bestowing plenty to us, but she is also the one who can keep things away from us. Okay, now we're going on to chapter 13. Just looking at the time. Okay, we have a few minutes. Here in chapter 13, there is a lovely meditation or dhyan on Devi. It says, Balar Kamandala Bhasam Chaturbahum Trilochana Pashang Kusha Varabhitir Dharayantim Shivam Bhaje. It says that I meditate on that Shiva Devi. So Devi is called Shiva. Which Devi? Shiva Devi, who is the abode of auspiciousness. She is the abode of auspiciousness and who is brilliant and effulgent. And not just brilliant and effulgent, but brilliant and effulgent like the rising sun. And who has 4 hands and 3 eyes. So we are meditating on that Devi before the actual explanation of chapter 13. So Medha Rishi goes on to explain. He's addressing Surat and Samadhi, and he says to them, Etatte katitam bhupa devi mahat muktamam. Katitam, I've explained. Bhupam, to the king. Devi mahatmyam, the glory of Devi. By her power, you too have been deluded, even though you have the power of discrimination. So Medha Rishi is like a guru, and he's not afraid to tell these two where they went wrong. Because only when people recognize their faults can they take action to correct those faults. So a guru will very gently direct the students, the disciples, to recognize their faults. And here he has done that. He says, by her power, you have been deluded, even though you have the power of discrimination. Even though you have the power of discrimination means you should have known better, but you did not exercise your discrimination. So what is the message in that for us? We all know what is right conduct, what is not. We know what is dharma and we know what is adharma. We must exercise our minds and choose to do what is dharma, follow the path of dharma and not do what is wrong. So having listened to the above katha, this katha that we spoke about from the first day of Navaratri, which was related by Medha Rishi, the king Surat and Vaishya, the Samadhi Vaishya, they undertook to worship Devi, where on the banks of a river. What did they do? They made offerings of water, flowers, agarbatti. They engaged in havan, and they did severe austerities for 3 years. 3 years. We are talking about people worshipping the Divine Mother daily for 3 years. And how long are we worshipping the Divine Mother for? Most of us find it hard to observe 9 days. They want to know, why is it 10 days this year? So I'm saying we may not be able to do it for 3 years, but at least be absolutely firm and disciplined in this 9 days. Make the full use. It is an especially auspicious period. Don't leave any of the days out. Take full advantage of it. So when they worshipped the Divine Mother for 3 years, then she gave them darshan. She appeared before them and she offered them a boon. She said, I'm very pleased with you. Ask for a boon. You have worshipped so well. You have been fasting. You're going through strict discipline, severe austerities. You didn't eat for many days. And on certain days, you had a very strict, restricted diet. And on certain days, you had nothing at all to eat. So I'm very pleased with the austerities that you've engaged in. Therefore, I have appeared in front of you and I'm offering you, ask that which you desire. And in verse 17 we read, Tato vavre nripo rajyam avibhranshanya janmani atreva cha nijam rajam hata shatru balam balak. That the king said, please get my kingdom back to me in my next birth. May I be born again and have my kingdom. And not only that, I must have a kingdom that is undisputed and unchallenged. My reign must be undisputed and unchallenged. In other words, the king is still in delusion. He's still attached to body, to status, and to wealth. And he wants to be born again. Who wants to be born again? Only those who are attached to all of these things. So one of the conditions for us to be free of rebirth is to not have attachment to body, status, and wealth. You can have those things, but you should not have attachment to it. When we are free of that attachment, then we are ready for mukti. And in verse 18, it says, Sopi Vaishyas Tato Jnanam Vapra Nirviramanasa, that the Vaishya, the businessman, the merchant, who understood that material attractions are an obstacle to spiritual progress, he asked for wisdom to become one without attachment. So see, the two of them asked for two completely different boons. One asked for all the attachment back. Vaishya understood that material attractions and attachment prevent you from progressing spiritually. Therefore, he says, please give me that wisdom that I do not become attached to this material world. I do not become attached to body, status, wealth, etc. And both were granted their chosen boons. Both, remember, both were in the ashram of Medha Rishi. That means, and both listened to this katha, this entire Durga Saptashati, related by the same Medha Rishi. The word Medha means intelligence or wise. So they had a wonderful guru. They both had the same guru. They both had the same teaching and guidance. That means the content that was presented to them was the same. Both lived in the same ashram and enjoyed the same conditions. It wasn't as if one was from a rich background in the ashram, one was getting nice food, and the other fellow was not getting. No, both got the same. They lived exactly in the same conditions. So the guru was the same, the teaching was the same, the conditions in which they were the same. But the result of the education was not the same. Both of them benefited differently from this teaching. One was still attached and wanted to be born again. The other, the merchant, became free of attachment. So I want to conclude on this point. We must understand this in our everyday existence as well. We must understand that people are at different levels of progress, and we cannot expect everybody to achieve the same. So when it comes to our family, our children, we shouldn't be saying, oh, no, my big son, he became a doctor. The other fellow, no, he's no good man. He became an electrician. You can't say that. You have to say that the abilities that they have must be advanced. The electrician must be allowed to do his work. The doctor must be allowed to do his work. Both must perform their duty. And we are not here to judge them. So I think we've had a wonderful 9 days of worship of Durga Mata, and we're going to conclude tomorrow with Vijay Dashmi. And I'm hoping that we can all be satisfied that we have been victorious. Vijay Hua, we have been victorious in overcoming at least a few of our bad habits. And that we are, through introspection, we will continue finding more of our negative behavior and changing that to positive. We will change our mental state from one of negativity to one of positivity, so that we do not have nightmares, but we have favorable visions. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Mata Di. We're going to have a Chalisa now.
जनक जननी पदमादुरजा निज मस्तक पर धारी वन्दौ मातु सरस्वती बुद्धिबल दे दातारी पूर्ण जगते में व्याप्त तव महिमा अमित अनंतु सारे संसार के पाप को मातु तू ही अब हंतु। जय श्री सकल बुद्धि बल राशि जय सर्वज्ञ अमर अविनाशी जय 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 दीना कर धारी करति सदा सुहंस सवारी। रूप चतुर्भुजधारी माता सकल विश्व अंदर विख्याता जग में पाप बुद्धि जब होती तब ही धर्म की फीकी ज्योति तब ही मातु का निजब तारा पाप ही न करती महतारा। वाल्मीकि जी थे हथियारा तब प्रसाद जाने संसारा। रामचरित जो रचे बनाई आदि कवि की पदवी पाई कालिदास जो भय विख्याता तेरी कृपा दृष्टि से माता तुलसी सूर्यादि विद्वाना भय और जो ज्ञानी नाना तिन्हन और रहे अवलंबा केवल कृपा आपकी अम्बा। करऊं कृपा सोई मातु भवानी दुखित दीन निज दास ही जानी पुत्र करहि अपराध बहुता देहि न धरई चित सुंदर माता राखो लाज जननी अब मेरी विनय करऊं भांति बहु तेरी मैं अनाथ तेरी अवलंबा कृपा करऊं जय जय जगदम्बा। मधुकैटभ जो अति बलवाना बाहु युद्ध विष्णु से ठाना समर 1005 में घोरा फिर भी मुख उनसे नहीं मोरा मातु सहाय किनते ही काला बुद्धि विपरीत भई खलहाला तेहि ते मृत्यु भई खल केरी पुरबहु मातु मनोरथ मेरी। चंद मुंड जो थे विख्याता जनमहु संहारे तेहि माता रक्त बीज से समरत पापी सुरमुनि हृदय धरा सब कापी काटे सिर जिमे कदली खंबा बार बार बिनवहु जगदम्बा जग प्रसिद्ध जो शुंभ निशुंभा चन में बांधे ताई तू अम्बा। भरत मातु बुद्धि फेरे उजाई, रामचंद्र बनवास कराई। यही विधि रावण वध तू कीन्हा, सुर नर मुनि सबको सुख दीना। को समरथ तव यश गुण गाना, निगम अनादि अनंत बखाना। विष्णु रुद्र जस कहीं न मारी, जिनकी हो तुम रक्षाकारी। रक्त दंतिका और शताक्षी, नाम अपार है दानव भक्षी। दुर्गम काज धरा पर कीन्हा, दुर्गा नाम सकल जग लीना। दुर्गा आदि हरणी तू माता, कृपा करहूँ जब जब सुख दाता। कृप को पित को मारन चाहे, कानन में घेरे मृग नाहे। सागर मध्या पोत के भंजे, अति तूफान नहीं कौ संगे। भूत प्रेत बाधाया दुख में, हो दरिद्र अथवा संकट में। नाम जपे मंगल सब होई, संशय इसमें करई न कोई। पुत्रहीन जो आतुर भाई, सबय छारे पुंजे यही माई। करय पाठ नित यह चालीसा, होय पुत्र सुंदर गुण ईशा। धूपाधिक नैवेद्य चढ़ावै, संकट रहित अवश्य हो जावै। भक्ति मातु की करई हमेशा, निकट न आवै काहि कलेशा। बंदी पाठ करई सत बारा, बंदी पाश दूर हो सारा। अपने जन की हित भवानी, की जय कृपा दास निज जानी। अपने जन की हित भवानी, की जय कृपा दास निज जानी। की जय कृपा दास निज जानी। मातु सूर्य कांति तव, अंधकार मम रूप। डूबन से रक्षा करहु, परुणमय भवकूप। बल बुद्धि विधिय देहु मोहि, सुनहु सरस्वती मातु। राम सागर यधम को, आश्रय तू ही दे दातु। जय सरस्वती माता, ओम जय सरस्वती माता। सद्गुण वैभवशालिनी, सद्गुण वैभवशालिनी, त्रिभुवन विख्याता। ओम जय सरस्वती माता, जय सरस्वती माता। ॐ जय सरस्वती माता सद्गुणवैभवशालिनी सद्गुणवैभवशालिनी त्रिभुवन विख्याता ॐ जय सरस्वती माता चन्द्रवदनी पद्मासिनी ज्योतिमङ्गलकारी मया द्युतिमङ्गलकारी सोहे शुभ हंस सवारी सोहे शुभ हंस सवारी अतुल तेजधारी ॐ जय सरस्वती माता बाएं कर में वीणा दाएं कर माला मैया दाएं कर माला शीश मुकुट मणि सोहे शीश मुकुट मणि सोहे गले मोतियन माला ॐ जय सरस्वती माता देवी शरण जो आए उनका उद्धार किया मैया उनका उद्धार किया पैठी मंत्रा दासी रावण संहार किया ॐ जय सरस्वती माता विद्या ज्ञान प्रदायिनी ज्ञान प्रकाश भरो मैया ज्ञान प्रकाश भरो मोह अज्ञान तिमिर का जग से नाश करो ॐ जय सरस्वती माता धूप दीप फल मेवा माँ स्वीकार करो ओ माँ स्वीकार करो ज्ञान चक्षु दे माता जग निस्तार करो ॐ जय सरस्वती माता माँ सरस्वती जी की आरती जो कोई जन गावे मैया जो कोई जन गावे हितकारी सुखकारी ज्ञान भक्ति पावे ॐ जय सरस्वती माता ॐ जय सरस्वती माता जय सरस्वती माता जय 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 सरस्वती माता सद्गुण वैभवशालिनी त्रिभुवन विख्याता ॐ जय सरस्वती माता
कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि ॐ मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णु मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष मंगलाय तनोहरि ओम सर्वमंगल मंगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते। आचमन ओम यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि तानि विनश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे. Take flowers and do prarthana, namaskar, visarjan. Om sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om asito ma sadgamaya तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम अपराध सहस्राणि क्रियन्ते अहर्निशं मया दासो यमिति मामत्वा क्षमस्व परमेश्वर. आवाहनं न जानामि विसर्जनं पूजां चैव न जानामि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर. अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्षित्वां परमेश्वर. Offer those flowers. बोलो श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. जगत जननी गौरी माता की जय. श्री सीतारामचंद्र भगवान की जय. श्री लक्ष्मण जी की जय. श्री हनुमान स्वामी बजरंग बली की जय. श्री राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय. श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की जय. शिव शंकर भगवान पार्वती माता की जय. गंगा माता की जय. यमुना माता की जय. गौरी माता, काली माता, दुर्गा माता, लक्ष्मी माता, सरस्वती माता की जय. ओम नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव हर. जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे श्याम. जय जगदम्बे.